Well, hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for coming. My name's Lyndon, and in this video I want to answer a question which has come up on quite a few of my videos, which is, how do you know what minor scale to use in a given situation? Because there's quite a few minor scales. There's Dorians, there's Aeolians, the relative minor. Which one do I know? There's pentatonics, blues scales. There's even harmonic or melodic minors. It's a bit of a minefield. Which one do I use in a given situation? And it's a fabulous question. So what we're going to be doing in this video is playing these different minor scales, looking at how they are similar and looking at how they are different, and working out which ones that we could possibly use in a given situation. That's what this video is going to be about today. Before I dive into that, I want to say thank you to all of the people that have bought me coffee, sent me amazing comments. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Saying really lovely things about my teaching style and how useful these tutorials are. I really do hope they are. I am trying my hardest to be a good YouTuber in my old age. I'm a 58-year-old YouTuber. 58? Yeah, 58, nearly 59. Oh, I'm a YouTuber. Anyway, it's just funny. I never thought this would happen. Not in my wildest dreams did I think I would have my own YouTube channel, much less a website which is going to be launched at some point in the future, I hope. Anyway, stop waffling. So thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and buying me coffee and all your lovely comments. If you want to buy me a coffee, you can. So, right, so minor scales. Now, I'm going to be demonstrating on the tenor sax, but I'm going to put everything that I'm doing in the titles below. So if you've got your alto sax out, that's absolutely fine. You can play along as well. And the examples that I'm going to be giving are in C major for concert pitch, which is, sorry, C minor for concert pitch, which is D minor for my tenor, and that is going to be A minor for you alto players. No particular reason why I'm playing my tenor and not my alto today, just fancied a change. And I love my tenor with all my heart. So D minor, right, the way that I present minor scales to people is to focus on one type of minor scale and then treat all of the other minor scales as a kind of variation on a theme. That's not the only way that you can think about it. So if your instructor or your method has a different take on it, that's absolutely fine as well. I just find that thinking about minor scales in this particular way is kind of straightforward and everybody gets it, because if you know your major scale, if you learn a Dorian minor, the Dorian is the second mode of a major scale. So let me show you what I mean. So if we take C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, B and C, and this is my C major, and if I take the second mode of that, that means starting on the second note, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and this is my D minor 7, and that is a Dorian minor. Dorian minor. And let's look at the chord tones of that. So you get D, F, A and C, and you could go to the E as well, and that would give you the root and the 3 and the 5 and the 7 and the 9. And this would also be written down as D minor 7. So one of the things which is confusing sometimes for people is, what is the D and the minor and the 7 all about? So the D, this here, I'm talking about this way of writing it down. So the D, well, that gives us the pitch, the name of the note that we're starting on. The minus sign tells us that compared to D major, we flattened the third. So if you think about D major would have D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp and D. So this F has been flattened, and that's what this minus sign means here. And that's true wherever you see it, so anything minor, it just means compared to the major scale, it's got a flattened third. Then the other kind of instruction on here is this 7 here. And in this context, if it comes after a minus sign, that means that the 7th has been flattened as well. And again, if we just check that out, D, E, F sharp it would be for D major, G, A, B, C sharp for D major, and look, the 7th has been flattened. That would normally be C sharp, and we've got a C. So that's what the D minor 7 is talking about. And actually, the D minor 7 only tells us about the root and the third and the fifth and the seventh because it's a chord instruction. And this is where sax players get unhappy or confused or trip up, because they're looking at D minor 7 and saying, how do I know what scale to play? And the answer is, you don't. It's not telling you about the notes between the D and the F and the A and the C. It's only telling you about the D and the F and the A and the C. And you can see that I've put the 9 there as well. And if you're going to be a bit more accurate, you would put a 9 in brackets, and that would give you that concrete instruction. Otherwise, D minor 7 on its own really just tells you about D and F and A and C, and not about any of the other notes. The thing is that if a pianist was holding down D, F, A and C, and maybe the E as well, so holding down that chord, there's a whole bunch of things that I could potentially play over the top of that that would sound really, really nice, including this first option, which is the Dorian minor. So let's see what D Dorian minor sounds like over this. I'm just going to play the scale and then I'm going to play the chord tones. So let's have a listen to that. Coming down from there. Now I'm going to hit the chord tones, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Coming down from there. And I think we can all agree that sounds absolutely lovely, really, really, really nice. And what I want to do is I want to give you a beautiful lick that you can try, which is super, super simple. All I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, root 7, 6, 5. I'll write it down anyway in the description below in alto and tenor. Do do dee ba ta dee dee da dum. It's so simple but so lovely. Have a listen. 2, 3. Now if I throw that around a little bit, listen to how nice it sounds. So we know then if we see D minor 7, a Dorian, certainly in this instance, will fit really, really, really nicely. So what are some of the other scales that we could put there? So we could also put a relative minor there, and the relative minor, so if you have a look at the cycle of fifths and you have a look at, I'll probably put this in the video actually, so if you look at F major, the sixth mode of any major scale gives us a relative minor. So F major's relative minor is D minor, but it's just exactly the same notes as F major but starting on a D. So let's write that scale out. So we would have D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C and D. And this is also D minor 7 because the root and the third and the fifth and the seventh have not changed. And this would be an Aeolian mode. This was a Dorian mode, and this is an Aeolian mode. And this is also known as the relative minor. And also, that's sometimes called a natural minor or a pure minor. I mean, why give something one name when you could give it 4 names? So you've got Aeolian, you've got relative minor, natural minor, or pure minor. That's crazy, isn't it? For me anyway, that feels really, really crazy to give it so many names. Let's see how that sounds. For me, this sound is a little bit darker than the other sounds, than the Dorian minor, I should say. So have a listen. I think it's pretty lovely, and if I was to have a little jam on that, a nice simple jam, again I'm going to write down what I'm doing at the bottom. So, I mean, for me, that's got a slightly darker sound. It's a really, really, really interesting sound, but it is a little bit darker, but still D minor 7. So could you use it? Yes, you could. It just depends how you apply it. And the only difference is that B flat compared to the D Dorian minor. So that's the note that I want to kind of be careful of and just make sure that I'm using it in a way that just kind of works. And just experiment with it, because that's absolutely fine to do that. A really kind of easy option that would definitely fit would be the pentatonic scale. The pentatonic is really, really nice because all it is exactly the same 4 notes as the chord tones of D minor, so D, F, A and C, but you're putting an extra note in there, which is this G, so the 4th. So you get D, F, G, A and C, and then D again, and this is a minor pentatonic. And it's still D minor 7 because it still has the D and the F and the A and the C. Right? It still has those notes in it, so it would still be regarded as a pentatonic. Why is it pentatonic? Well, it's a 5-note scale: pentagram, pentagon, pentatonic. That's where the name comes from. And some people will say, well, it's got 6 notes, hasn't it? Well, I guess it has if you count the root at the end, but actually we would normally not count the root as 2 separate notes. We just count that as one. So you've got 5: D, F, G, A and C. So you've got a 5-note scale, and that's just going to sound lovely. And particularly I'm doing it over a ballad here, as you can hear, but this is going to sound really, really nice in a rock or pop situation, but it will sound just as lovely in a ballad situation. Have a listen. Gorgeous, absolutely lovely, works really, really, really well. So that is another type of D minor 7, and again you just have to be sensitive about how you use it. For me, minor pentatonics and blues scales also fit hand in hand together, so that's another type of D minor that you could use. That's exactly the same bunch of notes as what you've got in the minor pentatonic, but you add in a flat 5, so you get D, F, G, G sharp, A, C and D. By the way, this is 1, 3, 4, 5 and 7, and that's the root, and this is a blues scale, and this is still D minor 7, a type of D minor 7. Why? Well, because it's got a D and an F and an A and a C. This would be root 3, 4, flat 5, 5, 7 and root again. So we know all about blues scales because they are fabulous and they fit really well. I shall play one for you so that you can hear what it sounds like, but it sounds absolutely gorgeous. I'll play it dead straight up and down, and then I'm going to throw it around just a little bit. Sounds absolutely gorgeous to my mind. Another option that you have over any kind of D minor, well, you could play a harmonic minor. Now this is such a beautiful scale, and it's identical to this note, bunch of notes up here. It's identical to the relative minor except for one note. So you get D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C sharp, and D. And this is, now if you were going to write this scale down, it would be D minor major, and the reason for that is that one of the chord tones has now changed, and it would be this one. So root 3, 5, and this is the 7, and this is the note that changes because now it has a C sharp in it. You've actually changed one of these things that makes the D minor 7 a D minor 7, and this would be a D minor major, and that's because it's got the same note as in the major scale that it comes from. So clearly D major, the 7th note, would be C sharp, and you could still play it over this because it is still a type of minor scale, a harmonic minor. So as the name suggests, it's definitely a minor scale, and that would sound absolutely gorgeous over a D minor, and it's definitely something that personally I use loads because it just sounds so lovely. Have a listen. Again, I'm going to play it dead straight up and down so that you can hear the scale, and then I'm going to throw it around a little bit. Coming down from there. Now throw it around. I think the harmonic minor is a really fantastic choice to play. So do you know what? I think that's enough. We've got the Dorian, we've got the Aeolian, we've got the minor pentatonic and the blues scale and the harmonic minor. So I'll just write that down, harmonic minor. I'm going to be putting all of this on a beautiful printed sheet so that you can see what I'm doing, and I'll either screenshot it or make it available as a downloadable bit of content that you can have free of charge, of course, from me. And so this is my harmonic minor. Harmonic minor. Yes, there are other things that you could do as well. You could play the Phrygian mode. You could, which would fit. You could play a melodic minor, which is kind of similar to the harmonic minor. But like I said, that gives us 5 really sort of big, strong choices. And so, how do you know which one to play? The answer is you don't. You just kind of find which scale kind of resonates with you as a person. Personally, I love Dorians. I love blues scales. scales, and I love harmonic minors, and I love the other scales as well, but that's enough for me to be getting on with. And this is the big thing here, right? In the end, you realize that instead of thinking about, well, you've got this scale, I've got Dorians, and I've got Phrygians, and I've got harmonic minors and minor pentatonics and blue scales, and instead of thinking you've got all of these separate scales, you just think, I've got a bunch of notes that I can draw from, so I could use a bit of the Dorian and then throw in a C sharp as well. I've also got a G sharp which is available to me in this particular key, and I could make that sound, that G sharp will make it sound a bit bluesy. If I play the C sharp, that's going to make it sound a bit kind of Eastern promisey, and if I play the C sharp and the B flat, that will really make it sound Eastern promisey. And if I play the B flat of the Aeolian, this is open to interpretation, so don't take it from me, but you can make it sound a little bit darker than the Dorian. The Dorian is a bit sweeter, you know, Dorian's like, you know, milk chocolate, and the Aeolian is like dark chocolate. That's just from my own mind, by the way. You don't have to go with that, but that's what it's like, you know, that's what it feels like to me. You've got, when I'm improvising over a minor scale, I'm not thinking, should I use this scale or that scale? I'm just thinking, what notes are available to me? And if you include the chromatic scale, the answer is that all of the 12 notes in Western music are available to you at any time over any chord. It's just really how you present them. So the analogy that I would give is like Ricky Gervais. Have you come across him? He says the most outrageous things. And how does he get away with that? Well, he gets away with that. And if you said some of the things that Ricky Gervais says, people would hate you or shoot you down, or you'd be getting into massive arguments. They wouldn't find it funny, and you wouldn't become a multimillionaire. And the reason that Ricky Gervais can get away with it is because of the context that he puts these outrageous things that he says in, and whatever he says now is connected to what he's just said that's led up to that moment, and what he's about to say, which might change your perception of what it is that he's saying now. And he is a master at the art of language, or a master of the art of saying outrageous things and inappropriate things in a way that people kind of accept and find amusing. If I tried to do that, I would just get shot down straight away. So music is exactly the same. It's not so much what you play, it's how what you are playing now connects with what you just played and what you're about to play. So don't think, if you see D minor 7, really don't think you have to play one thing or another. Although it would be really good for you to learn these scales well, then, you know, ultimately the answer is you can play whatever you want as long as you can justify it and keep to the golden rule of saxophone playing, which is sound nice. Right, I'm ranting, aren't I? I've gone into rant mode. I really hope that you found that useful. Please do let me know in the comments below, because it really motivates me up to better myself and improve what I'm doing and think about new things to do. So let me know in the comments. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, you can. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.